Hey, it's Nick Walters here again with the Grant Mining Methods Grants of the Weeks. We look at Nick's picks for my favorite grants to look at for the week of December 13th. Let's jump on in. The Laura Bush Foundation for America's Libraries has funding for those particular public schools, or it could be a special purpose school or a parochial or private school in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, all of the U.S. territories, as well as Department of Defense schools, that if they want to purchase things like books and periodicals and different magazine subscriptions, then the Laura Bush Foundation for America's Libraries may be the right spot to do that. December 31st is the deadline, but you can go back to Nick's Picks at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button and learn more about the Laura Bush Foundation for America's Libraries. Our next one is the Commission on Environmental Cooperation, and they've got a program called the American Partnership for Environmental Community Action. How about that for a mouthful? And so when we talk about a North American partnership, what they mean very literally is Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And they are trying to find specifically environmental-related threats from communities, particularly those that are in vulnerable populations, of how they can do things differently so that when things like COVID come and hit, that maybe they would be more resilient than they would have been previously. So the deadline for this is January 21st. The amount of funding will moves around. It's not any one set amount of funding, but you can learn all about the details of the Commission for Environmental Cooperation's North American Partnership for Environmental Community Action by going back to our website at easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button, click on it, and learn all the information you're going to want to know about that particular grant. The Copic Medical Foundation, COPIC in all caps, the Copic Medical Foundation is really trying to see how they can reduce all kind of adverse outcomes, specifically by finding more innovative ways to deliver care. They want to improve disease management in particular, as well as transitions in care. Their deadline is January the 14th. Where you would need to submit all of your information. The funding amounts will change, but you can learn more about the Copic Medical Foundation's healthcare grants by going back to our website at easygrants.us, looking for that big blue button that says Nick's Picks. And what about this one? I think we finally found a grant for our friend Cole, who is hanging out here in the studio with me. The Les Paul Foundation. How about that, huh? If you were doing music production or performance and finding a way to be innovative with STEM or STEAM, if you are a nonprofit and you are working on music education, innovative ways to integrate music into focus with young people, this might be a grant just specifically for you. Again, the dollar amounts are different, but January the 15th is when this deadline comes open, or where it ends, where the deadline for the application ends at that time. You can learn all about the Les Paul Foundation's grant monies by going back to easygrants.us. Look for that big blue button called Nick's Picks and learn all about it. The Literacy Opportunity Fund was developed by a group called Pro Literacy. And guess what they're about? Trying to make sure folks are more and more literate. How about that? They particularly like things for adult populations who are trying to become even more and more literate. This is actually for operating grant money. Now, many times nonprofit organizations are always looking for, how can I get the overhead money that can just help us keep the lights on or to be able to pay some expenses and such as that. Well, that's exactly what these funds are for. The grants are between $3,000 and $6,000 each. And they've got 4 different deadlines throughout 2022. So in January, April, July, and October, you would be able to have a different deadline. So if you miss this one coming up on January the 3rd, you can get the next one on April the 1st. You can learn all about the Literacy Opportunity Fund's Pro-Literacy Program by going back to our website at easygrants.us, clicking on that big blue button called Nick's Picks, and learn all about it. The National Forest Foundation has a matching awards program that would go to nonprofits, universities, and Native American tribes throughout the United States to really focus on outdoor experiences and/or forest health. Now, this is a one-to-one cash match, and you cannot use federal money as the match for these funds. Keep in mind that many folks who are in the nonprofit world, that sometimes there is a match to these grants, and you've got to make sure that you've got the cash and that you've got the ability to work through that, which is part of the things that we learn about when we're doing the grant mining method, is to know more about really assessing whether these particular monies are a fit or not. They've got a deadline of January the 12th to have a round one proposal put in. And then if they like your proposal, then you've got a second deadline of June 22nd to get your final proposal in. That's not that unusual. More and more foundations are asking for letters of intent or some kind of a general scope of work for the both of you to kind of understand if this is the right match going forward. And if they like what you have pitched to them, then they would come back and ask you for a full application. And so the National Forest Foundation is doing exactly that. And our last one is one that can go directly to an individual from the Ezra Jack Keats Foundation for New Writers and New Illustrator Book Awards. Keats specifically focuses on children's books. So if you have written a book that really focuses on the strength of the family, on the child's intelligence, on her curiosity of things that would really show a lot of expression that way. Or if you are an illustrator who has illustrated a book that was able to bring in all kinds of artistic uniqueness and expression to that, then you may have a $5,000 cash award waiting for you that is coming from the Ezra Jack Keats Foundation. And they would, you can learn more about that whole program by going back to our website at easygrants.us, clicking on that big blue button called Nick's Picks, and learn all about it. Hey, thank you for what all you do. Keep doing what you're doing. And I just hope that some of these funds can help you do even more of it. Until next time.